We should stop classifying everything as hip hop. So on the recent Culture United 8 hosted by Justin Hunte, Glasses, Malone, and Wayno had a good conversation back and forth about classifying certain black artists as hip hop and if they should potentially be classified as something else. So here's the clip, and then we'll talk about it a little further.
I really think we have to stop classifying everything as hip hop for some false sense of it. It's okay for brothers to go out and make rock music and use rap. Like I hear a take on rock music by brothers.
I think that there's a distinction between country or rock, but I think that hip hop is also not a one size fits all because there's so much hip hop that we can go back to when we was growing up. At the time, might have not fit the norm, and they became what it is that we consider hip hop.
Just because a brother rap, don't make it hip hop. Just because
so what makes it hip hop?
It's a street urban cultural take on art. But I think what we're witnessing, Wayno, is a lot of brothers get after rock and roll. They're not concerned in this space. And it's kind of obvious. They're going to get something else that we lost. When I look at Travis, I can feel like he's going to get something that we lost. It don't feel like I'm listening to hip hop. That's not to say I can't hear the 808 drums. It's not to say I can't hear the rap influence. It's not to say I can't hear his influences from all kind of rappers. But that little dude has a lot more. Same for Uzi, same for Playboy Cardi. Those guys are they are really special. And they're doing something really unique that we're trying to put in this. And I think it's obvious when you look at the appeal that it's much unique than just this.
So yeah, that was Glasses.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. So Wayno's argument was essentially that some of the sonics of hip hop changes throughout time, and there are a lot of elements that overlap between the music from someone like Cardi, Uzi Vert, Travis Scott, and that they make, as opposed to something a little bit more traditionally sounding to hip hop. Can you guys speak maybe on the sonic differences, and if you think that there should be a distinction between those two entities?
Travis literally growls on the mic, like with auto-tune. Like when I first heard that, I was like, it's different, but that shit hard than a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, because it was something that I had never heard before, and it made him stand out to me. Right. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. At the time, I thought it was hip hop. I will say that. But it has evolved into something way different. You know what I mean? Same with when I first saw Uzi, I was like, man, what?
Right.
Yeah. The whole aesthetic was rock star.
I feel like some people feel like it's a negative thing to call certain artists maybe not hip hop. But I don't think that it necessarily is a negative thing. If you are embodying or creating your own type of sound that doesn't really aesthetically fit something outside of a couple small influences and the fact that they happen to be black artists, black art is more than hip hop. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I feel like that sometimes is missed, and I don't know.
What's going on with that is it's almost like hip hop has become the generic word for everything black.
Black youth culture. Yes, it's
black
only
youth
hip hop.
culture. It's only hip hop, and it's the shows that have nothing to do with hip hop. It's the music that has nothing to do with hip hop. It's just classified as hip hop.
Tyler talked about this in the Grammy thing.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I really don't understand that.
Lazy.
It's
lazy.
It's society, essentially, because people that don't really know what hip hop is just assume everything is hip hop, and that's just not the case. But even some of these artists go as far to be like, well, I'm not a rapper. You're not a Cardi or a Travis Scott or a Uzi. You just want to be classified in your own little bubble. That's cool. It's cute. You know what I'm saying? Well, essentially, you're a rapper. You know what I'm saying? You're rapping. What they're doing is adding other elements to their product, so to speak, the artist that he mentioned, which creates something different. And that kind of leads to the discussion of, should hip hop or this music be classified as something different altogether? Because with them using all the rock and roll elements or the rage music, so to speak, Ye tried to claim the whole shit, by the way. He said it wouldn't, without him, they wouldn't exist, but we already know how that goes.
And even like hyper pop sound stuff, which is kind of Cardi-esque.
Yeah.
It just feels like it just feels different, you know.
It does feel different, and I think what it does is it awakens a different type of fan, a fan that is actually missing something, and they're missing that genre of music that they might have been into if those type of people were actually creating music now, which is like the grunge, the rock, the heavy metal type of stuff. You don't hear about any of those artists coming out anymore. I'm pretty sure they still exist.
Yeah, probably.
I know they do. Yeah.
They're making a music that's kind of a melting pot of a lot of those genres all together and handing it to people. And that's what makes them stand out, is because they're using all of those elements, and they don't look aesthetically. They don't look like the typical hip hop or rapper as far as how they present themselves as well.
Like you said, man, you broke down 3 different segments, like grunge, punk, all of those different genres
Heavy
of
metal,
rock.
yeah.
I think it's the same thing with like hip hop. Like, and the thing is we have to call it something else. You know
But
what I mean?
they did call it something else. That was what was cool about it.
With the rock stuff?
Yeah, with rock, they classified them as different things. This is grunge. This is, like you said,
it's like from the family tree of rock and roll, but it's not rock and roll almost.
But is that on them or is that on us? You know what I mean? Because we haven't found something to call
Trap,
that,
swag rap. I mean, you know,
I agree with all of those. We've done that with those, but as far as like
Booty
Travis,
Shake, taking it back to that, you know, we've
horrorcore. You know, what
is
I mean?
it rage? Is that what they want to call it? Is it rage?
That is fitting. I have heard that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what you would call it. You know what I mean? I don't.
It's definitely different.
Yeah, it's different. It sometimes, I don't know.
And that's we don't say that in a bad connotation.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
but I think a lot of times when this conversation comes up, it appears like it almost appears elitist to say like, oh, that's
exactly
not
what it is.
That's not hip hop, you know. But the thing is this, you know, when I say that, I'm not saying it from an elitist place. I'm saying like it just doesn't classify. It doesn't seem to fit in this particular grouping that it is in. Although it does feel similar, you know, and then, you know, I'm not even a huge fan of groupings as it is. I understand the purpose of groupings, but like, if we are going to group it as such, like it does feel like something different. So, and I have students that make all sorts of interesting styles of music that I have no idea what it is that they make. You know what I'm saying? You know, like this style of like mumbling on the track, but like it's aesthetic, but there are lyrics there at the same time, and it's all distorted, and like it's all about the vibe, but it's kind of rapping, but it's not really rapping. You know, it's like it's just different.
Emo.
It's just different. Yeah, I mean, there's elements of like Terry said, there's just elements of all of this stuff in there, and it's almost like it's genreless in a way, because it's drawing influences from hip hop, from different styles of rap music, from from Kanye's stuff that he was doing on Yeezus and the stuff. You know, like it's drawing a bunch of influences, and it's like there's nowhere to like classify it, and I almost feel like that's kind of the point.
It's the old dirty bastard of hip hop.
Well, you know,
there's no father to the style.
Yeah,
there's always been something where you were like, okay, technically they're rapping, but do we want to put it in the hip hop or rap category? You know, like,
but are they always rapping though? I don't think they're always rapping.
Think about remember the group Technotronic? You
Pump
know,
Up the Jam.
Yeah, you know, Ya Kid K, there was the MC in that group. Oh, she was rapping.
But not all hip hop. But not all rap is hip hop, right?
Right.
So,
you know, just like
those are jock jams.
Yeah. I mean, just like you got to understand, like, you know, and sort of where sometimes people just move it into a different place when it's convenient for them. You know, a lot of people don't remember this, but Milli Vanilli's first single, Girl, You Know It's True, charted on the rap chart. You know, the newly mentioned
because it was a
rap
rap on there.
Exactly. So they're just like, oh, there's a rap on it, so it's a rap song. You know, when it was CNC Music Factory, you know, Here Comes Freedom Williams. Technically, that's rapping. It's a full rap song.
Unfortunately,
I mean, look, it was of the time.
It was,
but at the same time, like I don't think anyone who was
I lost credibility.
Died in the wool hip hop was thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to put this in on my mixtape.
Nobody that was in the rap and hip hop back then classified any of those songs as rap and hip hop.
I mean, but you know, once again, the element is there, and so you can see where people would get confused when we're trying to differentiate it from everything else.
That was just pop music that had raps on it.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't a rapper when I saw him on Red Shoe Diaries.
I
that
knew it
came
the first
later.
time I heard it. I knew the first time I heard them songs, I was like, these don't sound like rap to me.
Hey man, Fred Durst was
As a
rapping.
kid,
Yeah.
well, he was rapping, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could listen to Korn, and for those of you who are familiar with that, we're like, okay, the structure of what technically might be considered rap is here, but this isn't hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that brings up another question. So how close culturally is a Lil Uzi Vert, a Playboi Carti, and a Travis Scott to someone like Kendrick Lamar or a Sky Zoo or an Odyssey or a Meek Mill?
I mean, they can be in the same conversation because when we try to pinpoint things as culture as well, it's like, what do you define as culture? How can you say that one is culturally close and where the other one isn't? Especially based on how one was influenced. Because who's to say what artist influenced him to make this sound?
Right.
That doesn't mean he's no less culturally involved or inspired than a Kendrick Lamar. Just because
I'm not
it
even
sounds
speaking
different.
from like a
Well, I'm
hip
not
hop
talking
perspective.
about you.
I know, but I'm not even speaking from like a hip hop, like trying to center hip hop. I'm just saying, are they culturally connected in that way? I mean, to what you're saying. I mean,
Yeah, still.
I mean, I think
would
they
say
are too.
Still are
I think they are
culturally
too.
Connected. It's just a different sound. It's a different part of the culture. It's like it's a different food. It's a different dish. You can have a variety of different foods, but it's all still culturally the same.
Would you call it more, when you say it's all the same culture, would you say it's more black culture as opposed to like hip hop culture?
No,
I don't know.
I wouldn't say so.
Because I mean,
only person that stands out. Only person I can say that to is Kendrick, maybe.
you think his is more black culture versus
In his music.
Travis Scott?
Yes, definitely.
Because of the fans?
Because of content.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Kind of goes back to the conscious.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Travis music for the most part is all party and bullshit, respectfully. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to tell you nothing really about his personal life or anything like that. It's just, look, I'm out, I'm having a good time. You should have a good time. I'm doing drugs and I got hoes.
Come do them with me.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Let's rage. His concert is a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all, I think, like, so I listen to these artists all differently.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's mood music at the end of the day.
pretty much,
Yeah.
man. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to amp myself up to go party, I'm going to throw on some Travis. I might not necessarily do that with no Kendrick, even though I can.
Right.
That's not really what's the message behind his music, though, most times.
It depends. I mean, sometimes you want the calm before the storm. Jordan was listening to freaking Kenny G before he went out.
Kenny Lattimore. Let's not put Kenny G
Kenny
on
G
Michael.
probably was somebody he was listening to too, honestly.
Yeah, probably.
And he'd go out there and bust your ass on the court. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it depends. I might pull up to a joint playing some R&B and go in there and play all basement trap music. You know what I'm saying? So,
Pull up with
I've
some
definitely
Wham,
done that.
You know?
yeah, hey. I'll pull up on some Michael McDonald at any given time and go in there and it'd be a whole different mood than what I was listening to in the car. So I can't really pinpoint if I would say one is more culturally invested than the other. I can say I think Kendrick's message is intentionally aimed at
The darkies.
damn, man.
Wow.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Just ruin that whole look.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Better bleep that out.
It's definitely aimed at black youth and black empowerment, things of that nature. Whereas a Travis Scott is aimed at everybody, and everybody's welcome to Astroworld to turn up. Let's have fun. Let's go crazy. Let's do everything on the cusp of killing yourself
And maybe
still
die.
make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a difference as far as that's concerned.
I enjoy all of their music just the same, though.
And I think generally speaking, if we're going to look at this fairly, it's not fair really to classify any artist into any type of category. It's really just something for us to do as consumers. So we, as humans, like to put things in categories. I mean, that's really all it comes down to. But there's definitely a place for that particular style of music, and it definitely lives. And I think it definitely pollinates in different areas and different people that consume it for different reasons. But
Yeah. I mean, I guess R&B is still called rhythm and blues. I love it ain't blues.
Yeah, because I was thinking about like It's a whole segment of quote unquote blues now that is more hip hop, but it made it palatable for me to listen to it. You know what I mean?
South blues.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, but it got 808s and trap beats, trap drums to it, but it's still blues.
It's
you know what I mean?
blues.
So, and I really enjoy that. It's because it's not my parents' blues.
Exactly.
It's not my grandparents' blues.
It's not a banjo or a guitar crying on the track with you. It's more upbeat.
Yeah.
They're still talking about
the same
she
stuff.
on some bullshit.
Yep.
But it just sounds different.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like what King George, Antonio, whatever dude's name, man. Like all of the dude 803 Fresh, that Boots on the Ground is blues music.
That is definitely blues music.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, if we got nothing else, then I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave these kids alone, I guess.
Leave them alone.
Let's see here.
Or just open your palette up a little bit more to understand why some of these things have influenced these artists to do different things.
Yeah, but at the same time, like as we watch this video, like I actually kind of agree with what Glasses was saying.
No, I do agree.
You know, like when you look at it from that lens, you know.
Man, I agree 100% with Glasses, man. It's not hip hop, but to Wayno's credit, it has elements.
It's like you don't want to diminish what they're doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like you are when you say that.
And being dismissive, that's also really, I mean, that goes back to the previous conversation
we
had.
Yep.